How many of us have a mother that tells us that caffeine is bad for us and it's going to give us a heart attack someday? I don't know about you, but I sure do. How many of us have had caffeine today already also? Studies show that 90% of North Americans consume caffeine each day. So why is there such a bad stigma around caffeine consumption and specifically energy drinks? My thesis statement today is caffeine gets a bad rap, but it's not the enemy. And within moderation, the benefits of caffeine outweigh the negatives. I will talk about first the primary benefits of caffeine, second the lesser known benefits of coffee, and third how if we keep in mind our caffeine intake, we can avoid most of the potential drawbacks. So let's go ahead with the first point, which is the primary and most well-known benefits of caffeine are, of course, increased energy and mental focus. Whether that be a cup of coffee in the morning to help wake you up, some tea at lunch, or even a can of an energy drink to help hold you over for the day, the vast majority of Americans utilize the benefits of caffeine. So how does it work? Your brain throughout the day produces something called adenosine, and that basically tells your brain that you're tired and you need sleep. Caffeine comes into your brain and it blocks those receptors from transmitting. It also releases something called dopamine, which I'm sure you have heard of. And that basically, it speeds up the neurotransmitters in your brain and increases your level of focus and mental activity. Because of this increase of dopamine and norepinephrine, which is it increases your brain's alertness, it's basically adrenaline. Because of this, it is, quote, thought to benefit your mood and brain function. One review reports that after participants ingested 37.5 to 450 milligrams of caffeine, they had improved alertness, short-term recall, and reaction time. That is from healthline.com, which was reviewed by a resident dietitian and certified diabetes care and education specialist. In short, the caffeine blocks the adenosine in your brain from transmitting. It also increases your level of mental focus and brain activity. But those are the most well-known benefits of caffeine. How about some, from my research, I found some more lesser-known benefits from coffee specifically, and that is decreased heart disease and liver damage. Quote, a body of data suggests that habitual coffee consumption is neutral to beneficial regarding the risk of a variety of adverse cardiovascular outcomes, including coronary heart disease, congestive heart failure, arrhythmias, and strokes. That's from National Library of Medicine.gov. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I thought caffeine was bad for your heart. That is only if you drink too much of it. Coffee, regular coffee consumption also can decrease your the damage to your liver by as much as 84%. So those are the benefits of caffeine, but how do we utilize them without the potential negatives? That is, by paying attention to our caffeine intake, we can avoid most of the potential drawbacks. Caffeine in and of itself is safe. It's only when quantity comes into account is it harmful and damaging to us. For my survey of 26 people, the listed negatives were dependence and addiction, headaches, sleep issues, anxiety, and sugar intake. But of the 26 people, 70% said that they only rarely or never experience these negative drawbacks from caffeine. How you can do this is by knowing your personal limits and being mindful of the amount of caffeine that you drink each day. The FDA says that we shouldn't drink more than 400 milligrams of caffeine. And generally speaking, coffee has anywhere from 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine. Tea has anywhere from 50 to 100, and energy drinks have anywhere from 120 to 200 milligrams of caffeine, depending on the type you selected. And quote, at low doses, caffeine can improve behavior and focus. So the most important thing to consider is finding balance and having the correct dosage for your specific needs. That is from Dr. Fields, which is professor of psychology and Brain Sciences at Texas A&M University. So far in this speech, I've told you about the positives of caffeine consumption, and also alerting you of how to avoid the potential negatives. So next time you're taking a sip of your coffee, tea, or energy drink, appreciate it for the benefits it is giving you of increased mental focus and energy. But if you're experiencing any of the negatives from it, that may be your sign to take a step back from caffeine consumption and find your own personal limits so you can utilize the benefits to the best of its ability without the potential drawbacks. Caffeine gets a bad reputation, but is not the enemy. Thank you for listening today. Have a great day.